And here we go. In the top left-hand position, it is the red Protoss, Evil Geniuses Oz. And over in the bottom right-hand position, it is IVD Apocalypse. I was looking up IVD a little bit, and it's basically an American gaming team. And Apocalypse is their main player that they have right now, which is really cool. I think, I went through that a little bit with its Gosu, and Hwangsun was our main guy, right? Our main Korean player that was just exceptional over all our other players. And it's really good to see. I feel like Apocalypse is going to learn a tremendous amount of just experience from this.
And with most Team League formats these days, you only need one good player. So
yeah. And Apocalypse is just man. Yeah. And what I like about that, though, is just like the fact that Apocalypse is going to get the chance to be in all of the team leagues, right? That's like going to be his main goal. And why that's so important is just he gets that I don't know, tournament format experience, which we just haven't been able to see in him for a very long time. He's always in challenger leagues and qualifiers. I see him all the time in qualifiers in Wings Liberty in the beginning of Heart of the Swarm. We haven't really been able to see him in like real leagues, actual leagues, and this is going to be such valuable experience for him as he moves into the future. So really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and he's a fun player to watch, as well as all the other players we have today. They're showing that they're willing to step outside the box from playing standard and just do different builds, different strategies, and kind of try to make them work out. And it's really cool.
I mean, even the Muslim pulling a rabbit out of his hat with some cheese that we're not really expecting him to cheese that much, right? Like he is, I would say, the most standard of standard Terrans. Like he represents the macro Terran. I'm not knocking his cheesy play by any means. I'm just saying it's good that we're seeing that mix in. Engineering Bay will go down to block out the Nexus over here. Oz, has he skipped the Zealot? And look at this. Yes, he has. Okay, I thought he was chrono boosting the Zealot. He is chrono boosting a Stalker out. This is beautiful. So this will delay the Nexus for quite a long time. But that's okay. Normally, this is the right response. Just a simple second assimilator is going to be started. And if it comes down to it, you will put down the robotics facility, and then you go ahead and expand. You just deviate your build a little bit, but where you can compensate for that is you eventually get your Colossus a lot sooner. It allows you to stabilize and potentially put pressure on your opponent a lot faster.
Yeah, and in combination with the Reaper, it works so well too, because all the units are going to attack the eBay, and now the Reaper just goes to the main and goes to attack the probes.
And it delays that expansion from going up even more, right?
You've gotten a kill with it. You usually don't see a kill with Reapers these days.
Apocalypse doing everything right. He is, I mean, look at how far behind this natural is right now. Up to 400 minerals right now. So he's done a good job at spending everything, but there it is. The Forge is going to go down, so it's not a robotics facility.
This is interesting, too. It could just be to get his upgrades underway earlier. Yeah. Sometimes, though, when we see a Forge this quick, you see +2 armor, research really quickly, and then they do like a charge lot build, because you have the advantage in the armor upgrades that you don't normally have. So we'll have to see if he does that or if he just goes standard.
I used to do this a lot, and when you get a Forge this fast, you can actually pump out +2 armor before that 10-minute timing, or even the 9-minute, 30-second timing, when the medevacs come out, and it's +2 armored Zealots with charge against like +1 Marines. Now it's still okay for the Marines, but you can also supplement that
Guardian Shield.
With Guardian Shield, yes, and also High Templars. Those two combinations, you just double feedback the medevacs. What can you really do against +2 charge?
He's going for it. Look, he's already turned on the Twilight console behind the Forge.
Yep. Oh, wow. Big scan.
Yeah.
And Apocalypse sees exactly the plan of Oz. So Oz, he might be in a little bit of trouble because that puts him in a really tough position. From that, I'm looking at Apocalypse and saying, well, now an SEV pull is very, very strong at that 9:30, 10-minute mark, because I know you won't have AoE. It's impossible for you to have consistent AoE. So let's just get a lot of Marines, mainly Marines, a couple of Marauders for that concussive shell, and just go for the push.
This push could do a bit too. His Mothership Core is on the other side of the map. So we'll have to see what these Marines can get done.
And we're going to find out in a little bit. There's only a single Stalker and Sentry on the field. Looks like they do have to push back. Actually, 2 Stalkers
He's
all the way
going
in
to
the
get a
back.
lot of probes, though, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be beautiful. Oh, it looks like he's just going to go directly for that sentry. Guardian Shield has been destroyed here. Now the Stalkers are getting manhandled. They're going to be forced up the ramp. Another Stalker is going to go down, and that is 2 Stalkers and a sentry for just Marines at the beginning stage. It's beautiful. +1 armor isn't even finished yet, so you can see everything is working out for this time.
Yeah, it's a nice round on the Marines, but they kill another 2 or so probes, I think.
Yep. Planetary Nexus was used over here at the natural base. Let's go ahead and take a look. 9 total probe kills. It's looking really, really nice. 35 to 35 harvesters at this point. So what that really means is Terran is ahead, especially with that trade in the beginning stages, because you want the sentries to bank up that energy. And now that they don't have that energy, they're going to be a lot weaker. Oz is going to be a lot weaker going into that 9-10 minute phase, because you need those initial force shields, even if it's 3 or 4 force shields. You need them. You need them to be able to limit the amount of Marines and Marauders out on the field, and then from there, you can manage your third base, or taking your third base a little bit easier.
And behind this, we're seeing Oz go for Blink, actually. Maybe he thinks he's too far behind and just wants to try to do a Blink all-in. Because usually you get Blink in time with the Colossi if you want to do like a macro style with it. So I think this is probably for a timing.
I'm a little bit worried, though. I mean, Blink is pretty hard to be successful with against Terrans.
Especially once they have skin and combat shields.
Correct. What this tells me, though, is that he's defending against the range where it's not just a 100% attack into my natural or attack to kill me. It's going to be to defend against those drops. So you plant 9 Stalkers over here. You expect the medevacs to come in. You let them come in. You blink up. You kill both medevacs. And you're all of a sudden equalized against your opponents because you've just cleared out 10, 20 supply. That's beautiful. But if there's any direct attacks, Blink Stalker is not nearly as good.
So he is going Colossi with the Blink Stalkers. I think he's at a disadvantage, though, because the Starport's been done for a bit. So there's going to be a decent amount of medevacs out before he has to start making Vikings. And he'll be able to start making Vikings as soon as he uses his Colossi as well. I think it's a tough spot for Oz. He's no means out, though. It's a bit behind.
Yeah, Planetary Nexus has been doing a good job, but already down to half life. And look at this, Apocalypse so bold with this, just consistently pushing and forcing the engagement, saying, hey, yeah, it's a Planetary Nexus. I think he will. Now, the Immortal is out in the field, but he's kiting around it, and down it goes. A beautiful pickoff from Apocalypse. Man, that is so cool. You know, a lot of times you say, okay, that Planetary Nexus is up, let's not attack for 60 seconds. But Apocalypse, he's just saying, no, that's still a big liability. You don't have a lot of units out. Protosses play so minimalistic these days that you can do stuff like that. You can say, okay, there's no way that you can take out all my Marines and Marauders in time. I can go ahead and DPS that Nexus down in time.
And second Starport finishing is perfect for the situation, too. Because with the denial of the Nexus, there's no way for him to go High Templar and Colossi anymore.
Yeah.
Normally, Protoss can sometimes go for the High Templar tech after making like two or three Colossi and 2 bases. But with his Nexus being sniped, he doesn't have the gas income he needs to do that.
That's perfect. I mean, and we've seen so many times, if you stay on Colossus for too long, even if you get 3-3, Archons, whatever it might be, the counter to that is just to simply get that second Stargate. You just produce so many Vikings to the point where it doesn't matter. Your Colossus will die in one shot, and from there, it just Colossus down, 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 down. All of a sudden, you have no AoE to deal with the mass bio.
And yeah, he is trying to go for Templar now. I mean, it's still what he has to do, even though he has much less gas than he wants.
Yeah.
Because there's already 2 Starports. You can't go Colossi and continue to make only Colossi against a double Starport Terran player. You have to switch to Templar.
Look at that. I mean, he's at 256 gas per minute. I would even say like 248, which is not that much. And finally now
it's
he's
like
going to...
1 Templar a minute.
Yeah. It's not looking good. Now Apocalypse, he has room to mess this up, but it's so tiny, Mike.
Yeah, he has the 3rd base up now. He has a factory blocking the 3rd of EGOZ, which will tell him as soon as he goes down too. He has complete map control. He has the perfect composition. It's definitely a tough spot for Oz.
Big stim going to come up here. Colossus was not finished, by the way. So the Vikings kind of useless, but they're going to go in the back over here. Oh no, Colossus was finished. It's hiding in the corner. But how it stands right now, I mean, these Marines and Marauders are just bearing down into the natural. Yet again, nice force field though, going to block off a lot of these units. Good pickup though. Apocalypse going to maintain all of his units back around. And probably going to go in for round number 2. Meanwhile, Vikings were able to do a little bit of damage. Force probe off the line. Now going into the Nexus at the natural base. And going to consistently poke and prod. Oz caught between a rock and a hard place. He can't really manage both these areas. Again, force fielding, they're kind of nice, but there's still a lot of Marines and Marauders directly behind this. And now another surge of units. Storm is almost finished, but he only has one High Templar.
I think he's forgotten about his Colossus, too. I mean, hiding it I understand, but after the Vikings and then main, he should be using it.
Yeah, definitely so.
He's forgotten about it.
And the Storm is going to go off. It will be good. He's taking out all the units, though. Apocalypse is going to take it with a commanding lead in game number 2.